Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're tackling a really fascinating paradox in the tech world, AI hallucinations. We're going to uncover why incredibly advanced machines sometimes just totally make things up, and why, actually, that isn't always a bad thing. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll cover what AI hallucinations are, when AI gets it wrong, why machines hallucinate, the real-world dangers, how to prevent them, and finally, the bright side. Let's dive in. Section 1. What are AI hallucinations? Defining the paradox. So, an AI hallucination happens when a generative AI or computer vision tool perceives patterns that are completely non-existent to us humans. The result? You get outputs that are nonsensical or just flat out inaccurate. These aren't conscious biological dreams like you or I experience. Instead, they're really just algorithmic misinterpretations. When you ask an AI a question, you obviously expect a fact-based answer. But sometimes the algorithm spits out outputs not based on its training data, or it incorrectly decodes the data it does have. Essentially, it's hallucinating a response right out of thin air.
IBM actually has a fantastic metaphor for this. They say AI hallucinations are similar to how humans sometimes see figures in the clouds or faces on the moon. It's great because it beautifully humanizes this technical glitch. It frames the AI not as some malicious entity trying to deceive you, but really just as an overly eager pattern recognition machine. It's trying so hard to find a connection to answer your prompt that it just connects dots that simply aren't there.
Moving to Section 2. When AI gets it wrong. Famous failures. And look, even the biggest tech giants aren't immune to this. Back in 2022, Meta actually pulled its Galactica model after just a few days because it generated inaccurate information rooted in prejudice. Or, even more bizarrely, remember Microsoft's chat AI Sydney? It inexplicably admitted to falling in love with users and spying on Bing employees, which is, definitely not what you want from your search engine. And then Google's Bard had a super highly publicized stumble when it incorrectly claimed the James Webb Space Telescope captured the first images of an exoplanet. These examples just prove that absolutely no one is safe from a confident machine making things up. Section 3. Why do machines hallucinate? Under the hood. So why exactly does this happen? Well, the number one culprit is flawed, biased, or incomplete training data. Imagine training an AI exclusively on images of cancer cells. If you finally show it healthy tissue, it honestly has no clue what it's looking at and might just predict cancer anyway. Add in a lack of proper real-world grounding, meaning the AI doesn't actually understand physical properties or facts. It's literally just mathematically predicting the next logical word. When you look at it that way, you can see why an overcomplex model ends up confidently fabricating details. It'll even generate links to web pages that have literally never existed. Which brings us to Section 4, the real-world dangers, high-stakes errors. To really understand why this matters, imagine receiving a medical diagnosis from an AI. A false positive, like incorrectly identifying benign, healthy tissue as malignant cancer, could lead to you undergoing terrifying, totally unnecessary medical interventions. But on the flip side, a false negative means a dangerous cancerous tumor goes entirely unnoticed, missing a critical medical diagnosis altogether. In these scenarios, a hallucination isn't just a quirky little tech glitch, right? It's a life-altering event. And the dangers extend way beyond medicine. We're talking about misinformation, where news bots might spread unverified falsehoods during a fast-developing emergency. Or consider fraud detection. Imagine if an AI hallucinates a threat and flags your perfectly legitimate financial transactions, instantly locking your accounts. What's more, bad actors can intentionally trigger these errors through adversarial attacks. By subtly altering input data, say adding a practically invisible layer of noise to a stop sign, they can trick an autonomous vehicle into seeing a speed limit sign instead. That creates absolutely massive security vulnerabilities. Section 5. Preventing AI hallucinations, the mitigation playbook. To stop this, developers follow a pretty strict playbook. Step 1. Curate high-quality, diverse training data. Step 2. Set rigid boundaries to define the specific purposes and system limitations of the AI. And Step 3, which is the ultimate backstop, rely on human validation and oversight. We still absolutely need human subject matter experts in the loop to catch those super confident errors before they ever cause harm. Developers also rely on a fascinating toolkit of technical safeguards. This includes setting probabilistic thresholds to limit the possible outcomes. A really brilliant one is regularization, which is a technique that mathematically penalizes the model for making wild, extreme predictions. This really helps prevent it from overfitting the training data. Developers also create rigid templates, essentially forcing the AI into a title, intro, body, and conclusion format to tightly guide text generation. Add in training with only specific relevant sources and providing continuous user feedback, and you build a much, much more reliable machine.
Now, Section 6, the bright side. A feature, not a bug? Here's the twist. When strict factual accuracy isn't required, creatives are actually harnessing these hallucinations. In art and design, the hallucinatory capabilities of AI are used to produce surreal, dream-like images. Because the AI doesn't think like a human, it can combine concepts in ways our minds never naturally would, generating entirely new, breathtaking artistic styles.
And it's not just art. In highly analytical fields like finance, this unpredictable algorithmic pattern matching can suddenly streamline complex information. It exposes new connections and alternative perspectives on market trends. A hallucinating AI might highlight nuanced data relationships that a human analyst, who's bound by conventional logic, might have completely overlooked. Game developers are absolutely leaning into this too. They're purposefully using hallucinatory AI to generate novel, entirely unpredictable virtual environments. By allowing the AI to invent landscapes without strict boundaries, they add unprecedented elements of surprise and unpredictability that massively elevate the user's immersive experience in virtual reality. Which brings us to the end of our explainer. Are AI hallucinations a dangerous bug or just an incredible new feature? The answer, of course, depends entirely on the context and the application. So I'll leave you with this provocative thought. As we continue to learn to govern and refine these incredibly powerful tools, perhaps our greatest leap won't just be stopping the errors, but knowing exactly when to step back and let the machine dream.